Hello and welcome to Aztecs All In, the podcast that goes all in on San Diego State sports. I'm Louis Weiner along with Steve Perez. We are two Aztec alums and football season ticket holders who love San Diego State sports. Aztecs coming off their first conference win of the year, getting set to face Nevada. Let's say hello to Steve. Steve, nice to be coming off a win, huh?
Yes, it's a novel feeling, Louis. Let's get going before it passes.
That's right. In this episode, you'll hear from Brady Hoke about facing a Nevada team that has not won a game all year and the challenge of keeping his team focused on playing a winless team. We'll also hear from quarterback Jalen Mayden and defensive lineman Garret about how the team was tired of losing and came together with a great effort to beat Hawaii. And Jalen Mayden shares what it's like to be back playing quarterback for a year after having switched to defensive back. So, Steve, let's get started on this one. Big game against Nevada. Aztecs trying to make it two straight in the conference.
Nevada, San Diego State, Fox Sports 2, 6 p.m. on Saturday. Aztecs want to try to get off on a little win streak after being on that losing streak and, as you say, tired of being there, and finally getting off the schneid against Hawaii. So they will face a team in Nevada that has lost 16 straight and has not won a game yet this season and is at the bottom of the Mountain West standings and has come off a loss to UNLV 45-27 last week. And as the Aztecs were winning in Hawaii 41-34. So head coach Brady Hoke got the inevitable questions. Do you have the team's attention? And this opponent, are you guys taking them lightly? And Hoke, being the coach that he is, answers, heck no. They have played some tough teams as we have.
Number one, the opponents they played are 26-9. So that they played some pretty good football teams. And the quarterback, Louis, is transferred from Colorado, was a starter at Colorado. He's played in significant football games. I think he's really a good player. He throws the ball well. He also leads them in rushing, and that's something that we've got to work real hard on as far as defensively, taking care. And then, you can't be fooled, and they're a good football team. We obviously are going with the attitude, we got to win the next one. If we want to do as well as we can do, and we've got to improve this week in practice. We had a good day yesterday, but we've got to get better, and we've got to go out and play our best football game of the year.
So Brady Hoke talking about Brendan Lewis, Nevada's quarterback, who had a career day despite losing this past week against UNLV. He set career highs for passing yards with 287 and rushing yards with 115. And his 115 yards rushing marked Nevada's first 100-yard rushing performance by a quarterback since 2019. So he's a dual threat guy, Steve. It appears much like Jalen Mayden.
And the Aztecs still a propensity to give up. I've heard that word, chunk plays, and I don't it just gives me a queasy feeling. And the more appropriate and statistically accurate play description is big offensive plays of 20 plus yards or more. And did you know, Louis, that Aztec opponents have netted 40 overall big offensive plays of 20 yards plus, while the Aztecs have come up with 29 overall, and that includes a host of big plays in their last game against Hawaii. So that's what they need to avoid against Nevada if they are going to have success.
Absolutely. And Nevada, which gained just 220 yards the previous week against Fresno State, against UNLV this week, they went for a season-high 474 yards, including 187 on the ground. So that sounds like there were a lot of chunk plays there that hopefully San Diego State can avoid, Steve.
Right, and in total defense, San Diego State is still, and to concede, they have played some tough opponents early on, but they are still near the bottom of the conference in total defense, getting up there in middle of the pack in scoring defense, holding opponents to an average of 31 or some odd points in a game. So it's a situation where last week they did give up a lot of points, but they scored more. And the Aztecs, when they score 40 or more points in recent years, have been successful. So that would be the key.
Yes, San Diego State got back to playing Aztec-style football against Hawaii, and Jalen, Mayden, and Garret Fountain were talking about what changed, what made last Saturday's game so successful for San Diego State. And one thing Jalen Mayden said really stood out.
I feel like on the offensive side, we just tired of losing, and I don't know, it was just something about that week where it didn't matter if there was a catch on the other side of the field. We had people from the backside running to go get blocks, just making sure that, the effort was there. And during the game, it was the exact same thing. One play, Makai caught like a comeback to the field, and Keenan's running the leak route, and he almost catches Makai and helps him bring him into the end zone. And that effort is just some of the things that we really felt like could help us, start to win again. And that's what I was really proud of that week.
It was a good environment. Hawaii is always a tough team, especially when you're playing over there in Hawaii. And they're a physical football team every year. They are, and we like to say that we are too. And this year we've been kind of missing some of that throughout the season. And so Saturday was a good feeling to have back. Everybody was flying around and was bringing their best, and on their side and our side, and it felt like a good competition and a good football game to be a part of, just with how physical it was and how fast it was. It was good. It was fun.
So this week the Aztecs will be looking to even their record overall, right? Get back to 500, which is the goal, and then to keep winning. They are 3-4 overall, 1-2 going into this game. It is week 8. They have this one game, and then they'll have another bye. The Aztecs, as we have noted, rallied from being behind for the first time after leading throughout that game and having a 17-point lead. They get on out and they finish the job, get some big plays on offense. Lucky Sutton gets into a groove and scores his second touchdown of the game. The Aztecs defense creates a turnover. The Aztecs senior kicker punter Jack Browning comes through with some booming punts throughout that game, and as well hits 2 out of 3 field goals and all the extra points, and that is enough to make him the Mountain West Special Teams Player of the Week with 11 points on the board for the Aztecs. God, did he punt an average 56 yards per punt, and a couple of them went over 60 yards, so pretty impressive.
Yeah, Browning can kick it, can he? Those balls just fly. They go so high in the air, and I don't know how some of these guys can catch the ball when it goes so high,
And then in comes Nevada, looking for their first win. They got a quarterback with some Power 5 experience, played at Colorado. He had a decent game last week, even though they did not win the game. He's got some receivers who, kind of like some of the teams the Aztecs have faced in the past, run all up and down the field and like to get open and get big plays. It's basically the recipe for, as I mentioned recently, one of those games that, even though they haven't won, could be the kind of team that could give the Aztecs a little bit of trouble this season, just based on the way they've been playing. And Brady Hoke's been saying to his team, they are capable of beating us, but we have to prove we're the better team, and that happens on the football field Saturday night.
We started that process yesterday. Hopefully they're listening. We got a team that listens pretty well. I think that we also got a team that is pretty resilient, and they pretty much understand where we're at. For us to have the goals that we want to have, and you never know about the conference race period, because people beat some people this weekend, and you never know what's going to happen. But we got some goals, and one of them is to win the next 5 games. Yesterday was more the review from Hawaii. We spoke a little bit, we did some things. Today we'll get more into Nevada, but it will be pretty common sense. You look at where we're at right now, look at where they're at. They're a good football team. We've got, we said last week we had 6. Now we got 5. We got to go get it.
So you look down that schedule for Nevada Wolfpack, and they opened up at USC and got pasted 66-14, and the L's have piled up since then. Losses to Idaho, Kansas, Texas State. They lost at Fresno State 27-9, and most recently UNLV. So they are 0-6 on the season, 0-2 in the conference. So Louis, that all adds up to not being able to put a W in the record books for the last 16 games for the Wolfpack.
Yeah, great opportunity for San Diego State this coming weekend to win their second conference game and move toward being bowl eligible. So they're pushing for that. And they're going to be riding on the back of Jalen Mayden, who is back playing quarterback this season. He played last season. Before that, he played defensive back. And this year on the season, Mayden has thrown 6 touchdown passes and 6 interceptions. He has a QBR rating of 52.7, which is 85th in the nation. But he's had more success than not since he started playing quarterback last season. And today, during the media availability, he is asked what it's like playing quarterback back for a year after playing defensive back.
I guess the whole thing, I'm kind of still grasping the journey as it goes on, but just becoming a leader, being a guy that people look at, and even when we're down, we're up, need a crunch time play, everybody's kind of looking for me like, all right, well, we're behind you, and we're going to go as you go, as the coaches tell me all the time. So kind of just getting bolstered into that role, and I feel like I've really taken advantage of it, getting guys to stay after practice when we need it, or just holding myself to a higher standard than I guess some coaches would be like, all right, you need to take it easy on yourself. So just to reflect on it, I'm glad I came back to quarterback. I wouldn't change a thing, and I'm proud of how far I came since when I first stepped in. Challenge, the challenge is just playing football, long seasons, you know what I'm saying? So, I just fully embraced it, and I'm just glad I did it.
So, once again, Nevada, as you might expect if you haven't won a game in the last 16 outings, they are at the bottom of a lot of the Mountain West Conference stats. Total offensive yards, they're at the bottom. Touchdowns scored, the bottom. They have given up an average of 39 points a game, and that puts them in the bottom. Scoring defense, bottom. Total defense, giving up an average of 510 yards a game, even though, yes, they have played some tough teams. And also scoring offense, they only put up. So the Aztecs have an opportunity to kind of work on some things that they need to work on offensively. And one of the things that I've noticed they need to work on, Louis, is their third down efficiency. They are 36% in third down. They have had 97 opportunities to convert and only converted 35 of them. And as most teams are, the shorter the yardage, the better their efficiency. And they just seem to find themselves in a hole a lot of times if you find yourself in longer situations. So it's an opportunity to get that ground game going and develop a more consistency on offense.
Yeah, I think for third down efficiency, you got to turn to the tight end sometimes. Mark Redmond, he really catches the ball well, and I think they try to go to him a little bit more in those third down situations, and they may have just a little bit more success.
Right. The longer the yardage, though, you get to 7, 8, 9 yards, the lower the odds are of converting, and the Aztecs are like most teams. It's basically you give yourself a good look at the chains and an opportunity, and you have a better opportunity to convert.
Well, we'll see how it goes this Saturday against Nevada here at home at Snapdragon Stadium. And before we wrap this one up, Steve, over the years for basketball, every year the Aztecs never have that big dude, right? That big tall guy. You're always saying, where's San Diego State? Well, the Aztecs this week signed a couple of big guys. The first, Pharaoh Compton, a 6'8", 220-pound forward with a 7'3" wingspan. He's a consensus 4-star prospect ranked number 1 in Nevada. and as high as 80th nationally. And he verbally committed during a nationally televised game this weekend, Steve, in Las Vegas. And there's another guy, too.
Yes, a high school senior is playing Dream City Christian. He is from the class of 24. That's David Magic. He's a 7-footer. Real exciting to see what he can do. But can he play defense? And if he can't play defense, you're not going to get on the court with the Aztecs. 7 feet, 195. Obviously, he is going to need to maybe put on a few pounds, and obviously he will be that big man inside for the Aztecs. We shall see when he gets in here finally.
Yeah, and I don't have to hear you complain. Where is the big guy? We don't have a big guy.
I'll find something else to complain about. You know
I
how
bet
we
you will.
are. That'll wrap up this edition of Aztecs All In. Thank you for joining us, and make sure you check us out by following us on Aztecs All In on our X page, formerly known as Twitter, Aztecs_all_in. And you can also check us out and make your complaints known to us. We have pretty hefty skins. Like, look, I'm poking Louis right now. I'm poking. It feels like it's pretty firm.
No
underneath,
poking, no
It's
poking.
pretty thick skin. Anyways, you can reach him and me at aztecsallin@gmail.com. So, for Louis Weiner, I am Steve Perez saying thank you for joining us, and we will talk to you soon after the Aztecs take on Nevada.